I want to call up Tami Dayan, a creative business consultant who's been working on building ties between Israel and the Gulf for more than a decade. Christophe Bachelet, the country manager of Morocco for DLA Piper, and Yann Assor, vice president of the Morocco-Israel Business Council, to join me on the stage. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So the Abraham Accords were signed about 2 years ago, and the countries were so excited to build prosperity through peace. But doing business together is not necessarily easy. Christophe, I want to start with you. You work with DLA Piper, an international law firm with offices in Israel, the UAE, and Morocco, among many other places. What are the most common questions that clients ask your team when trying to do business overseas?
First of all, thank you very much to hosting you. It's a real pleasure to share our experience and meet a lot of people. Generally, there are 3 or 4 topics in mind. Same question, sometimes the order differs. So there is a lot of question around language. What is the language of business, of doing business in Morocco? Some people have a view of Morocco, which is everyone speaking Arabic or French. So we are there to convey the message that all transactions, whether mid-size or high-size, they are in English. Morocco has a huge, how could I say, familiarity with English law for all the financing, or most of the financing of huge projects. And all the documentation is really at international standards. So generally, I reach to convince people that it's not an issue when you do not speak French or Arabic to invest and to do business in Morocco, and we have a lot of examples. The second question generally is around it's more technical, is around the corporate form of the company. The question is, do I have am I obliged to have a local partner? Can I have just my own vehicle, wholly owned subsidiary? So the answer is yes. That does not preclude people for finding a partner, but at least they are not obliged, for question of timing, to meet people. So I think it's a way of being free. After that, some kind of question on the fact that can my manager, as my manager, be to be Moroccan? Can I have a foreign CEO? So a lot of things about, I would say, the obligation to have someone local in the board. But the question, the answer is you can have an international board. You can keep your, I would say, your management abroad. After, in practice, it's more difficulty to do business on a daily basis. But at least there is no legal barrier and a lot of flexibility. The question after that is it really easy to set up a company? How much time it takes? I would say the most difficult obstacle is more the KYC when you open a bank account, like everywhere in the world, whether you are in Luxembourg now or Mauritius Island or New York. Each time you have to open a bank account, there is a KYC, and in Morocco, the KYC process is as constrained as in other countries. For the rest, it's opening a company is like anywhere in the world, just article of association, so it's not an issue.
Okay, I want to stop you right there just because I want to make sure we have time for everything else. But
No
if
worry.
anybody has questions for Christophe, you definitely can come up afterwards about opening your business in Morocco. Tami, I want to jump over to you. Even though you're Israeli, you've actually been doing business in the Middle East for a number of years. Can you just tell us, were you easily accepted, and what were some of the barriers that you had to overcome?
Sure. So thank you for hosting me. I think the process, I want to talk more about the essence of the process of being engaged, deeply engaged in what we call business in the region, but it's really building the trust, people to people. Our culture come to do business is very focus oriented. Now, let's sign the deal now. Thank you. We want to see results. We want to deliver. It's not necessarily the culture of doing business here. Here we need to be more, here I mean in the region, we need to be more attentive, many sensitivities, cultural, political, structural challenges. So from my experience in the past decade is to, first of all, build trust, to know who are the people, to talk about the preconceived opinions we each bring to the table, which are not necessarily relevant or true, and to see how we can bridge some of the personal challenges. Once we build a trust, and it's like paving a very difficult path, still paving it, then we can talk about business, but not about what we want, but what about you want, what about they want, what are the needs?
Or what do we need to
do
together?
And then how we can best address it. So I would say, first of all, think about them, then think about us, and then it will be a fruitful engagement.
Thank you for that. Now, you know, for us in Israel, be honest that we sometimes don't know the difference between the countries. The UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco are actually very different, but for Israelis that have never been to them, they might not know. Yann, what is something that surprised you, on the other hand, about working with Israelis? And can you also tell Israelis something that they should know about doing business with Moroccans?
I have a double vision of the Morocco-Israeli business relation. First, as institutional role that we have in the Morocco-Israeli Business Council at CGEM, with our colleague from the Trade Federation in Israel, in which on daily basis we work to promote both countries, in Israel and Morocco. And as a business advisor, acting as a managing partner of the firm BV Capital Africa. To answer to your question, what it did not surprise me is the enthusiasm of the Israeli businessmen who come in Morocco after the Abraham Accords, but not necessarily to prospect the potential of the Moroccan market, but to reconnect with their roots. I recall that quietly 1 million Israeli are from Moroccan origin. So when they come in Morocco, it was first to reconnect. The communication is very fluid with the Moroccan people because they are speaking Arabic like they never lived together, and that was fantastic. Now, to the other side of the business, I think that Israel has the potential to gain a large market share in Morocco, thanks to his high knowledge in the tech optimization, particularly, and we saw it today in the agricultural segment, which consists and which represents in Morocco still a large part of the activity, but also in energy, in desalinization, etc. And after, maybe at the end of this meeting, I will have the opportunity to speak about the Moroccan engineer and what we can do between Morocco and Israel.
That would be great. Now, Christophe, I want to jump back to you real quick. I interviewed one of your colleagues from DLA Piper about a month ago, and she spoke about Morocco as a gateway to Africa, a topic that we touched upon this morning as well. What would be your role at the law firm in helping Israelis cross that bridge, and what kind of industries would make sense to consider it?
So to answer your first question, I think I echo your word about trust. I think my first role as a lawyer is maybe more a role as businessman, having set up my own business finally 7 years ago. So I know how it's difficult to convince a board to enter in a new country, and particularly in Africa. Everyone knows it's quite challenging. So I think my first message is just sometimes I explain my own history. How at that time it has been very useful for me to be located at Casablanca Finance City and benefit from this kind of governmental umbrella. This has been really key in convincing my board of directors. Sometimes I simply also share the experience of other clients, because now we have, I think, a huge example of partnership between Moroccan and Israeli partners. Is not theoretical. If you look last year at the successful story of Gaia with Maroon and the new press release about the partnership. So we've got some very, how could I say, strong example now. So it's more easy to convince people. And for a more technical point, the question is more, what is the best place where they need to locate their vehicle? Because in Morocco, we have a chance to have a wide panel of ecosystem. So the question is whether they should invest in Tangier or in Kenitra or in Casablanca Finance City and be present in this area, depending on their activity and sectors. That's for the first question. For the second question,
1 minute answer,
yes,
please.
And very quickly, I will say the key word is innovation. As long as there is a component of innovation, Morocco as such now a diversified industry. If you look at logistics, if you look effectively at water, energy, also military, pharmaceuticals to some extent, because Israel people are very strong in patent, in pharmaceutical products. As long as there is these components, to me there is really a wide variety of choice.
Fabulous. Now, I want to ask this question to all of you. Some of you are working with colleagues all around the world. Others are hosting delegations or attending conferences like this one. And a lot of it is about bringing people together to do business. Recently, there was a Bahraini economic delegation in Israel. It was the first of its kind. And on that trip, I had a privilege of meeting with the Minister of Industry and Commerce, and he said during the interview that the Abraham Accords needed to move from a government initiative to a partnership between the business people. Tami, you first, 1 minute each, then Yann, then Christophe. What do you think about that? Do we need to move from a government initiative to a people initiative, and how do we do it?
Sure, absolutely. I think this is the direction. I was very happy the delegation made their way to Israel. It took a long time, but I think, again, when it comes to people, it helps to break the set of challenges we're still dealing with and limiting our full access to the full potential of the Gulf and the MENA region. And as you could see, once people come to Israel and see that we're normal people, not any different. We have families, we go to restaurants, we're nice people, and yes, we have this extra challenge that other countries don't, but we still live in coexistence, and I think once we break this ice, it's a first step to build a trust, and then on that safe ground, we can build more and expand more.
Yann.
I completely agree with you. Once the government make their job, the business and the people has to pursue. I have a concrete example on how people can work together beyond the business. I just give the example on which in the Business Council we are working on is you have around 25,000 American engineers graduated from school each year. And this pool of talent constitute, on my sense, a very nice opportunity to create people and relation between Morocco and Israel, because as you know, Israel has a very large reputation on the tech industry, and due to the increase of the tech sector, the country is facing a lack of talents. So using and the pool of the qualified engineers that we have, and integrate them in the Israeli tech sector could be wonderful for both countries. But in the long term, it will permit to Morocco to become a real startup nation in Africa, and based from rank 8 of the fundraising today to rank 1, thanks to this beautiful collaboration, I hope, that will be taking place between Morocco and Israel.
Excellent. Christophe, your answer.
I must confess, I totally share your view. I just echo what you say. There is a pool of talent in Morocco of engineers, and effectively the future, I think, is around startup, venture capital. So I have nothing more to add to be completely agree.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, the three of you, for being here. I know we had to cut the panel a little bit short, so all of you will be around for networking, and please feel free to come and talk to them. Thanks so much.